I mean, it's just a watershed moment for Netflix, really. I mean, getting into the live scripted entertainment, I feel like this is sort of the house of cards, industry wise. If you think about the change, that was really the beginning of their launch into programming, their own original programming. This seems like getting into the live space. I mean, they've dabbled in live, Melissa, but this is a very big 10-year, $5 billion deal with WWE. This is transformative, and doing it on the exact same day that they announced the largest quarterly net adds since the pandemic quarter, and only literally the second largest net ad quarter in the history of the company. Given how big and how old Netflix is, stunning that they can grow subs that quickly.
How do you think their sports strategy or their live strategy will unfold? Do you think we'll see them going after, rights to live sports, or will they just pursue the sports adjacent, sort of not necessarily depending on it being live all the time, but things that can be rewatched over and over again?
Look, I think they were very careful to use the phrase that you just recited, sports adjacent, right? Live entertainment is not sports, right? I mean, WWE is scripted programming. Every episode, it's been on NBC and the NBCU family of networks, where SmackDown's going to reside after the transition from Raw, but it's scripted. Netflix loves scripted programming. This is just live scripted. Now, I wouldn't be naive enough to believe that there isn't a future in sports. They've been testing with things like tennis and golf, their own sort of created events. Do I think long term, meaning over the next 10 plus years, could I see Netflix getting into the sports arena in a bigger way? Sure. But I think they were very careful. This is not about sports. This is about getting into or expanding from scripted into live scripted. And that's as far as they're going. Do I think we'll be talking about in 5 to 10 years moving into sports, like true live sports? I'm sure. But that is not what's happening. And I would be surprised to see them move too quickly into sports. I think crawl, walk, run, they're on that process and on that, continuation of growing into it.
Hey, Rich, it's Tim. You teed up in your notes the impact of generative AI and whether it's on the content creation process. Frankly, for a company that continues to grow their free cash flow model, think about this also, maybe phrase it in your analyst chair and what this means in terms of both income statement and how you view this company in a cycle where I think there are going to be a lot of upgrades coming, obviously, off these numbers, but because of some of the dynamics around how they can be more profitable than ever.
Well, look, the obvious area that seems to jump out at me is animation. They just had one of their most successful animated movie in history called Leo. They talked on the call, answering one of our questions about there being a Leo sequels being kicked around now. I have to believe when you think about the storyboarding and, you know how long it takes, Tim, to make animated movies. It's 3 to 4 years. It's a brutal process. If you can speed up that content creation process for animation, and really do it more quickly, I think that's a place where generative AI could have a meaningfully positive cost impact and speed efficiency impact on the business. And so I think that's notable. How it reduces cost in the broader business, I mean, I don't expect storytellers to go away anytime soon. But I am curious that they didn't really, talk to generative AI, but I think it'll be interesting how generative AI impacts them beyond animation. I think that's the obvious starting point.
Rich, I got 2 questions for you. One, Netflix mentioned a gaming strategy a couple of years ago. Where do they stand on that? And 2, what makes you think Tim would have any idea how long it takes to make an animated film?
Tim is working on his animated.
I am cartooning right here. I'm laying out storyboards.
Right.
Thank you, Rich.
The salamander.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
I'm giving Tim credit for his overall creative capabilities. But in answer to your question on gaming, look, Brandon Ross, my partner, lives and breathes video games. Like, he still continues to believe that, they're probably going to need to make an acquisition at some point. Maybe not a major, like an EA acquisition.
How about
but do they
Spotify?
have to buy? Well, that's well beyond gaming. I mean, look, Ted Sarandos, co-CEO of Netflix, sits on the Spotify board. I'd be surprised. It's so different. And music, think about what Daniel Ek's doing. He's trying to own all of audio. I think very similar, Netflix is trying to own all of video. And yes, all of video, ultimately, Melissa, is your question of sports. I don't think they're there yet. I think they have to grow and get bigger. And the advertising business has to be much bigger to justify sports. That is the piece that is growing rapidly. And there's a major event happening in the next few days that your viewers should be paying attention to. T-Mobile, everyone who's on the T-Mobile Netflix on Us is going to convert to the ad plan. So there's going to be a huge surge in advertising subscribers. Netflix talked about they may not even be able to fill that demand immediately, inventory, because it's going to take time. But that's going to be a very big tailwind to the Netflix ad business as you move through Q1.